Dr. Velkern pressed her four-fingered hand against the observation glass and watched the human sleep. The creature lay perfectly still on the simple bed, chest rising and falling in a steady rhythm that the Kirithi researcher found deeply unsettling. No species in the known galaxy slept like this. No species could afford to. The research facility orbited a dead moon far from any inhabited system. It was one of 17 stations dedicated to studying the newest species to join galactic civilization. Humans had arrived 3 standard cycles ago, and they had already broken every model the scientific community held about intelligent life. Velkern turned to her colleague, a tall Merivan with scales that shifted between blue and green depending on his mood. Right now, they were a troubled shade of gray. 18,000 heartbeats, she said quietly. He has been unconscious for 18,000 heartbeats, researchers Thalmkal, and he shows no signs of waking. Tomko made a clicking sound with his throat. The medical readouts show no distress. Brain activity is present but reduced. Body temperature has dropped slightly. All vital signs remain stable. Stable, Velkern repeated. He is completely vulnerable. Any predator could approach. Any danger could arise. And he simply lies there, unaware of the universe around him. Their world must have been very safe, Thalmkal suggested. Velkern shook her head. The Kirithi had evolved on a world of constant threats. Her species slept in short bursts of a few hundred heartbeats at most, always alert, always ready to flee or fight. The Merivan were similar. So were the Cassari, the Prothean, the Villani, and every other species in the Galactic Council. Sleep was a necessary evil, a brief pause to restore the mind, never lasting more than a small fraction of the daily cycle. But humans slept for a third of their entire day. Every single day, without fail. The door behind them opened, and senior researcher Yavanol entered the observation room. The elderly Kirithi moved slowly, her fur gray with age, but her eyes were sharp as ever. She carried a data tablet filled with information that had been gathered over the past cycle. I have completed my analysis of their homeworld, Yavanol announced. And I believe I understand why humans are so strange. Velkern turned eagerly. Please, explain. Nothing about these creatures makes sense. Yavanol walked to the window and looked at the sleeping human. His name was Marcus Chen, and he had volunteered for this study with what the humans called curiosity. He wanted to help aliens understand his species. The concept itself was foreign to Velkern. Why would anyone volunteer to be studied? Their world has a rotation period of approximately 24 of their hours, Yavanol began. This creates a day-night cycle that is remarkably consistent. The planet orbits a single stable star at a nearly circular distance. Seasonal variations exist, but are moderate. And most importantly, their world has a very thick atmosphere and a strong magnetic field. What does this mean for their biology? Thalmkal asked. Everything, Yavanol replied. Their world filtered out most harmful radiation. The temperature remained relatively stable. Weather patterns, while variable, followed predictable cycles, and the day-night rhythm never changed. For millions of years, their ancestors experienced the same basic pattern. Light for half the day, darkness for the other half. Their bodies evolved to match this rhythm perfectly. Velkern struggled to understand. Her homeworld orbited a binary star system. Day length varied wildly depending on which sun was visible. Sometimes there were 2 days in a row with no night. Sometimes there were 3 nights in a row with no day. Her species had evolved to sleep in brief moments whenever safety allowed, never relying on any external pattern. So they built their entire biology around this rhythm? She asked. Completely, Yavanol confirmed. They call it their circadian rhythm. Their bodies produce different chemicals at different times of this 24-hour cycle. In the darkness period, their brains release a substance that makes them sleepy. In the light period, other chemicals make them alert. Their body temperature rises and falls on schedule. Their digestive system expects food at certain times. Their immune system is stronger at certain hours. Everything is connected to this internal clock. Marcus stirred in his sleep, rolling onto his side. Vulcan flinched, thinking he was waking, but he simply settled into a new position and continued his strange unconscious state. We have documented 5 distinct stages of their sleep, Yavanel continued. They cycle through these stages multiple times during a single sleep period. One stage involves rapid movement of their eyes beneath closed lids. Their brain activity during this stage is almost as high as when they are awake. We believe this is when they dream. Dream? Tomko asked. Their brains create elaborate false realities while they sleep. Stories, images, experiences that never happened. They live through these dreams as if they were real, only to wake and dismiss them as fiction. Vulcan felt a chill run through her. Their minds create fake worlds while they are unconscious? Regularly, sometimes multiple times per night. They consider it completely normal. The 3 researchers stood in silence, watching Marcus Chen sleep peacefully, his mind possibly wandering through imaginary worlds while his body lay defenseless. This should have killed them, Vulcan finally said. This should have made them extinct before they ever developed intelligence. How did they survive? Yavanel pulled up additional data on her tablet. 2 factors. First, they evolved as social creatures. They slept in groups. While some individuals slept, others remained awake to watch for danger. They took turns protecting each other. Cooperative sleeping, Thongkol noted. Interesting but not unique. Some species manage this. The second factor is more remarkable, Yavanel said. Their bodies are incredibly good at making up for lost sleep. If a human is forced to stay awake longer than normal, they can recover by sleeping longer afterward. Their bodies track what they call sleep debt and work to repay it. They can push through exhaustion for extended periods and then recover with a few long sleep sessions. How long can they stay awake? Vulcan asked. The record is 11 of their days. Over 200 hours without sleep. Both younger researchers stared at Yavanel in disbelief. Impossible, Thongkol said. No brain can function that long without rest. Human brains can. They suffer greatly. They experience hallucinations, mood changes, reduced cognitive function. But they can do it. And they have done it under extreme circumstances. Their military forces train soldiers to operate for days without sleep during crisis situations. Vulcan thought about this. Her species could manage perhaps 20,000 heartbeats without sleep before becoming dangerously impaired. And recovery took many small sleep sessions over several days. Humans could apparently stretch their consciousness for incredible durations and then recover with a single long rest. What happens if they cannot maintain their rhythm? She asked. If day and night change? If they travel between worlds with different rotation periods? Yavanel smiled slightly. This is the most fascinating part. Humans can adapt. Their internal clock is flexible. If they are exposed to different light patterns, their bodies gradually adjust to the new rhythm. It takes several of their days, and they feel discomfort during the adjustment. They call it jet lag when traveling across time zones on their own world. But eventually, their circadian rhythm resets to match the new environment. They can reprogram their own biology? Thongkol asked. Slowly, yes. Their clock prefers their homeworld rhythm, but it can adjust to variations. We have tested this with Marcus. We have altered the light patterns in his quarters several times. His body protests initially, but then adapts. His internal systems reorganize themselves to match the new pattern. Marcus chose that moment to wake. His eyes opened slowly, blinking against the soft light of his room. He stretched his arms above his head and yawned, a behavior that showed all his teeth in what the researchers now understood was not a threat display. He sat up and looked directly at the observation window. Even though the glass was supposed to be one way, he seemed to know they were watching. Morning, he said, his voice rough from sleep. Well, I think it's morning. Hard to tell in space. The researchers exchanged glances. Human hearing was not supposed to be that good. We should interview him, Yavanel suggested. Document his subjective experience of the sleep cycle. They entered the room through the secure door. Marcus was now standing, stretching his muscles in various directions. His body made small popping sounds that initially alarmed the medical team until they learned it was normal. "How do you feel?" Velcron asked. "Pretty good, actually. Had a weird dream, though. I was back on Earth, at my grandmother's house. She was making dumplings, but they kept turning into butterflies and flying away. She was so frustrated." He laughed at the memory. "You experience amusement from these false memories?" Tomko asked. Sometimes. Sometimes they're scary. Sometimes they're sad. Dreams are strange. You ever dream?" The question caught Velcron off guard. Our species does not experience dreams. Our rest periods are too short for deep brain activity. Marcus looked at her with what she recognized as sympathy. "That's kind of sad, actually. I love dreaming. Some of my best story ideas come from dreams." "Stories?" Yavanel asked. "Yeah, I write fiction in my spare time. Dreams give me wild ideas that I could never think of while awake. My brain just creates these amazing scenarios while I'm unconscious. It's like having a free imagination engine." The researchers recorded this information carefully. Human brains use their vulnerable sleep time to generate creative content. They converted unconsciousness into productivity. "Do you feel distress about sleeping?" Velcron asked. "About being unaware for such long periods?" Marcus considered the question. "Not really. I mean, I trust myself to wake up if something's wrong. Loud noises pull me out of sleep instantly. My body knows the difference between safe rest and real danger. You can wake immediately if threatened." "Oh, yeah. There was this one time a smoke alarm went off in my apartment at 3 a.m. I went from deep sleep to fully awake and running in about 2 seconds. Grabbed my cat, got out of the building, called emergency services." Your brain doesn't completely shut off when you sleep. Part of it is always watching. This was new information. Human sleep was not true unconsciousness, but rather a partial awareness, ready to snap back to full function if needed. "Your species is remarkable," Yavanel admitted. Marcus shrugged. "We just work with what evolution gave us. 24-hour days, 8 hours of sleep, the whole package. It's funny, actually. When we started traveling to space, one of our biggest challenges was maintaining normal sleep patterns. Space stations and ships don't have natural day-night cycles. We had to create artificial lighting schedules to keep our bodies happy." "You brought your rhythm with you," Thomkal observed. "Had to. Humans get sick without regular sleep. Our immune systems fail. Our minds break down. We're pretty tough in a lot of ways, but mess with our sleep schedule, and we fall apart fast. It's our weakness and our strength at the same time." Velcron thought about this. Humans had evolved on a world with consistent patterns, and they had become dependent on those patterns. But they had also learned to carry those patterns with them, creating artificial environments that matched their biological needs. They had turned their weakness into technology. "Thank you for participating in this study," Yavanel said formally. Marcus smiled. "Happy to help. Now, what's for breakfast?" "I'm starving." My body knows it's morning, even if the clocks don't. The researchers watched him walk toward the food preparation area, completely at ease despite being the strangest creature any of them had ever studied. His body knew time that they could not see. His brain created worlds while he lay unconscious. And he considered all of this perfectly normal. Perhaps that was the most human thing of all.